Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about a vinyl album that I really enjoy, and this is going to be the first of a few videos. I'm not really sure how many of these I'm going to be posting, but I'm going to be going through my vinyl collection and talking about some of my favorite albums. And so the first episode, you could say, we're going to be talking about this classic right here, which is the Smashing Pumpkins album, Siamese Dream. It came out in 1993. It is their second full-length album after Gish, which came out in 91. And this one is actually the album that contained one of their first, there were hits on Gish, but definitely this album had some of the biggest singles by the band, including Cheryl Brock and of course Today, which everyone knows that song, and Disarm, which is a very beautiful song, actually. Still one of my favorite Smashing Pumpkins songs of and just one of my favorite songs of the 90s, really. Billy Corgan has a very distinctive voice, and I actually kind of like that. The lead singer of this band, you definitely don't hear anyone else in alternative rock music that sounds quite like him. It's a very unique voice, and to be honest, when I first started listening to the Smashing Pumpkins when I was a teenager, at first I was thinking to myself, do I really like this or not? Because his voice really does take some getting used to. So I'm going to open this, and hopefully the camera focuses. And it's a beautiful gatefold, as you could see. Let me try to just hold this up to you, see if you could see the details there. You got pictures of the band. You have lyrics in there too, but you can't really see it because it's kind of in front of these pictures. But this, by the way, has a grand total of 2 vinyl records in it, so side A, B, C, and D. I'm just going to take one out so you can see what it looks like. Here is Siamese Dream, side A, record 1. If you turn it over, it will be side B, of course. And this and we still have the other vinyl record in here, which is side C and D. But there you go. It comes in this lovely pink color here. There's a little bit of a design on it too. The camera's not going to pick it up, but I could see it with my naked eye. So take a look at that. Overall, I give this album a 10 out of 10. I mean, it definitely is one of their best albums. It did come out after Gish, 1991. And of course, the album following this, I'm not going to count their 1994 compilation album, Pisces Iscariot, which was just a B-sides and stuff like that from the first 2 albums. The third album, the album that officially came after this, also a classic, and that is something that I would like to get on vinyl too. Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness came out in '95. Also a great album, which had the singles Bullet with Butterfly Wings and of course many others. Zero, for example. 33, which was kind of a minor single on that album. Also one of my personal favorites. But this is a great album, I will say. All of the songs here are very strong. All of the non-singles on here that I really like are Quiet, which has a really heavy, meaty type of riff to it. Silver Fuck, which is actually second to the third track to the end of it. And that's a very intense song as well. And there's the softer songs. I mean, this album has a very good dynamic, a balance of really heavy and the really soft songs are very effective. Like, as I was, Disarm and Mayonnaise, which I guess isn't really necessarily a heavy song, but it's somewhere in between, I guess, but it has a very beautiful melody to it. But yeah, this is Siamese Dream. I will be doing more album, talking about more albums in my collection. And I definitely recommend you check this out. If you're going to get into the Smashing Pumpkins, this is probably where you want to start. Either this or the album that came after in '95, which is Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Those two albums is where you want to start if you're a Smashing Pumpkin, if you want to get into the Smashing Pumpkins. And then, the other albums, Gish, the debut, 1998's Adore, which came after, Melancholy, was a very experimental electronic type of album. And I wouldn't recommend that as my first Smashing Pumpkins album, but once you kind of get acclimated with them and you get used to them, check out that album. Of course, and the other albums after that, like Machina, The Machines of God, came out in 2000. I do want that on vinyl as well. I have it on CD, but not vinyl. And then, of course, there are the albums that came after their first breakup when they reunited. Zeitgeist and Oceana and all that. All good albums, solid albums. I'm not saying that they're bad albums, but definitely the era of the Smashing Pumpkins, which I believe they formed in 1988. They didn't release an album until 91, Gish, but I believe it was the original era of the band, of the original lineup, was 88 to 2000, and that was a very I love that era of the Smashing Pumpkins. It had a very diverse, lots of diverse albums in that era. And yeah, check this album out. I hope to see you next time, and I'll be talking about another classic album, I guess you could say, or just an album that I really like. And I hope to see you again, and if you like these videos, let me know and I will do more, because I love music. I could talk about music all day long, and I could kind of already did that now. But see you next time, and God bless.